everybody, my name's Anne Elliott. What I'm about to talk to you about is the total antithesis to Anishes, and seems like a very strange choice in what is possibly one of the most exciting years in sport in British history. The Olympics are here. So why on earth am I going to talk to you about exercise in middle age? Now, I was given a completely free brief when they said, please come and talk. You can talk about anything you want. And I thought, well, actually, I'm talking to a business-orientated audience. So what I want to give you is a snapshot of a problem in Britain today. The entrepreneurial amongst you will actually see some of the market niche opportunities that lie open to you. If by the end of my short talk you have said to yourself, "Oh, I didn't know that," or "Actually, she's got a point," then my job is done. I'm not going to convince you that middle age is sexy or exciting, all right? But what I do want you to do is have an awareness of it. Before I do, I better tell you a bit about me, haven't I? I actually teach in sports science. My academic specialisation is what we call special populations, which we'll talk about in a bit more. My personal academic specialisation is exercise in middle age. I also, and I'm very lucky to be able to do this, run a private personal training practice outside of the university where I work specifically with this demographic. So it's brilliant for me because actually both sides inform each other. My outside work I bring into my academic life, and my academic life I take outside as well. And for those of you who are thinking of an academic career, doing it this way is really brilliant. You should keep that in mind. So that's my first message. Whenever I'm asked to talk about middle age, two things happen. Anybody who is middle-aged sucks their stomach in. And I look around the audience and I go, I wonder how long they can keep it in for. Okay? The second message is that why should this be interesting? If we're talking about training up the next generation of sports scientists and fitness professionals, you know, they say to me, well, if I've got the option to work with an Adonis, who's an elite athlete, who's absolutely breaking world barriers, why on earth do I want to work with some fat, balding, tired old guy? Which would you prefer to work with? But actually, this demographic is an immensely interesting one. And for me, actually, I think, personally, much more interesting than the elite athlete route. So that's another problem. And those of you who are in the 40 to 60 age range in the audience might know what I'm talking about there. You are. We are invisible. And we are severely under-researched. And we wear this cloak of invisibility that is even better than Harry Potter's. And I am often asked, why isn't more work done with this age group? And actually my own personal view is that I think that this age group is so busy researching everybody else, there isn't any time for them to research themselves. So what happens in this age group? I'm going to talk in broad terms, and there are always exceptions to the rule, obviously. If we think about the average lifespan in Britain, you go to university or you get some education, you find a girl or a boy, you get married, you have kids, you develop a career, you do it for a lot of years. By the time you've hit 40 to 60, around that sort of 50, you're tired. You've been doing it for a long time. You have lots of responsibilities. You have been sitting at a desk for lots and lots of years. So there is a whole thing about being middle-aged that isn't taken into account. When we think about middle age, we only ever think about one aspect at a time. sedentary lifestyle comes with that whole process, which is why a large number of obese people in Britain are within that demographic. They are the main group. And through this snapshot, I will hopefully show you that we are an immensely vulnerable group. And I use that word advisedly. It is, I mean, it's not thought of as vulnerable normally, but I think it is for a number of reasons. 68% of all adults, that's over 18, in Britain are obese or overweight. That is an enormous percentage of the population. That alone should, those entrepreneurs at the back of the room there should be going, yes, I could be doing something here. It is estimated by Wang, who was working for the NHS, that it's going to absorb nearly 2% of our NHS costs just to keep these people alive and kicking. And then we get to some really depressing stuff. They've started looking to find out why people are being sedentary and what we can do about it. And we got their chart of physiotherapists have said that only a fifth of people take some kind of exercise at all. And it gets even worse because there is a national survey done every year, and we found that only 20% of all those people asked did more than a 20-minute walk once a year. I mean, that seems absolutely gobsmackingly extraordinary. This is a map from this year's Active People Survey, and it just shows you roughly where people are moving and where they're not. The darkest colour is where there's more people moving, and that darkest colour, the maximum number of the population is 30.8%. And it's really interesting, actually. If you sort of quickly scan it, you'd think that all those areas where we've got our lovely national parks and lots of countryside are actually some of the places where people are moving the least. I don't know what the answer is, it was just an observation. And obviously the other places where we note a large number of sedentaryism is in the large cities and the big conglomerations. And again, there could be lots of research done in that area to ask ourselves why that might be. So then we have to come on to this thing about social perception of obesity and sedentaryism. And I'm talking mainly about obesity because that's obviously one of the biggest problems that we have to face with it. Those of you